perspective, was Shon looking for a way out in that divorce talk just in case he cheats, maybe? Do you think he was looking for a way out of that situation?
I think it's all the above. I do think that Shon, he doesn't trust himself. He's mentioned that time and time again. But I also think that Shon doesn't really want to get married. Okay, he's having all these outlandish thoughts. He wants a destination wedding. He wants 13 groomsmen. That sounds like someone who's really trying to find a way for his woman to say, okay, you know what? No. So to me, I don't think he's ready. But I also, I feel that with Shon interaction with LaRonda, it just proves that, one, he doesn't trust himself. Two, he's not ready for marriage. Then he brings up the whole thing about divorce. Yes, it's important to have that conversation about divorcing, but at the same time, you have that conversation kind of early on, not 3 or 4 years in, and then to make it seem like it's a situation of growing apart, it's crazy. If you've been with someone for 4 years, if you want to grow apart, you will see those type of trails coming up, you know what I mean? So to me, I think that he's just making excuses. He's talked about this whole thing about divorce. He doesn't trust himself in this marriage if he gets married to it.
Good points. Good points. Love that. Thank you very much, Corey. Yes. Let me ask another question around this. Obviously, they have different views on divorce. Well, is that something that can stop you guys from getting married per se? Is that having those different views on divorce? Could that stop you from potentially getting married? Let me ask that, Chef Jay. Could that stop you from getting married potentially?
I'll say in some cases, yes, that can stop you from getting married, especially if the other party is like strongly against being divorced altogether. So there are possibilities that can stop you. Now, the limit, I wish they kind of went into this, what exactly would be their deal breakers for, to cause the divorce, because I would like to have known what Shon's depends were or whatnot. Most cases, like Dr. Nundi say, it is there's some type of abuse. Cheating is technically not really a cause because you can go to therapy and all this stuff like that, but like habitual cheating could be an issue. Finances is not really an issue, but we know in the United States that is one of the biggest issues or whatnot that causes this. If somebody is like over abusing your money or y'all's money together, that can cause a problem or whatnot. So I really would have liked to know what their different views as to what can cause a divorce for each of them, to even know to how to expound on that, like, a little bit deeper. But yeah, different views can definitely be a cause for a pause in a marriage, for real.
Appreciate it, Chef. And what was your kind of thoughts on their conversation anyway between LaRonda and Shon?
It was just kind of weird that the position Shon was kind of taking on being so like adamant for divorce, it seemed a little bit in his tone. It was just like, LaRonda's kind of where, no, we can kind of go to therapy, we can, try to work through it. And that's the thing, marriage is work. And it was sounding to me like he's not ready to put in the work. So it's like, as soon as something goes wrong or awry in the relationship, it's like, oh, well, let's just go get the divorce. And it's really crazy because divorce costs you more than getting married. So it's like, why even go down that route? And then you're talking about having 7 kids. Why would you want to put all of those kids through that? You know what I'm saying? Like, say to you got to the point to all 7 kids. And now something has happened in the relationship and you're not happy no more. So you just want to out. So now you're going to drag the kids through all of that too, or whatnot. Now you're going to be a single parent somewhere else. Like, that just kind of like makes no sense. It's like, marriage is work. A relationship is work. If you want to be in this relationship, you got to put in the work, or we could just go our separate ways and find people who want what we want.
Good points as always, Chef. Appreciate that. Appreciate it. Let me get Brittany in a conversation. Brittany, what was your thoughts around Shon and LaRonda's kind of conversation around divorce? What was your kind of viewpoints towards that?
Mine is similar to Chef's. It's pretty much that just based on watching them and hearing them go back and forth, I feel like they're not on the same page. Whether it's about divorce or any of their previous conversations, LaRonda seems to see things one way, Shon sees things another way. I've never really heard them agree to anything where there wasn't anything shaky about the situation. I've always felt like they always haven't seen eye to eye on most issues they've spoken about. And I was mostly leaning towards Shon not being ready for marriage because I don't feel like he's really in it for the long haul, mindset wise. I don't think he's ready for the work that is going to go along with being in a marriage, especially with his behavior that we've all seen as of late. Like he really has to work through his issues first. I mean, anybody does. Some people's issues are worse than others, but from what I've seen from Shon, I wouldn't go into a marriage with someone who has insecurities as big as his. Now, people who have insecurities like his, but they are at bay, they know how to handle them on their own, and they know how to let people know what their triggers may be about certain things. But when it comes to Shon, it seems like he's just all over the place when it comes to those insecurities. And I don't think anybody would want to deal with that throughout a marriage, right? Unless he's actually working on it. And we don't even see him really trying too much. I mean, he's taking little incy baby steps, but it's not really doing enough to convince me, at least, that he's ready to take that leap. Because marriage is forever. And for me, if they're not on the same page, well, I will say for me, if I feel like my spouse or the person I plan on marrying is not on the same page as me with most of the things that we talk about, then I would have to rethink whether or not we're going to get married. We might have to hold off a little longer, or just we're going to have to break up.
Good points as always, Brittany. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Drew, will you be shaking the table today? What's your thoughts on the marriage between Shon and LaRonda? And can you see Shon's point? Can you see Shon's point? 7 kids. She's 30 plus now. Can you see his point?
No, I'm blind to his point. I'm gonna see it at all. Because just like from the conversation they were having, I must say I agree with Chef Corey, Britt, everyone before, because from the conversation, it's not so much that he said that he's okay with divorce. For me, it's the way he said it. It came across like, I need this to be an option. Like he's looking for it to be an out. It sounds to me like I don't really want to be married and I need this to be there as my insurance. So when I'm ready to leave, I can leave via this route. That's what it sounded like. So I think between that and him not wanting to be married, it's time for LaRonda to maybe consider that they just don't want the same things. And then separate and apart from that, the rest of the conversation, they're not agreeing on anything much. So their married life, I'm not really seeing how they're going to, meet in the middle or make things work. And how you broke and want 7 kids? Make it make sense. How are you not the breadwinner, but you want 7 children? That's like setting up your kids for struggle. Kids, in this case, I think the quality would be better than the quantity. They need to focus on a smaller amount of kids if that's really what they want to do. But also, LaRonda seems very heavily based in family. She believes in family values, and she seems to be very dead set that that is what she wants, and she wants it the way she wants it in the confines of marriage. And for me, Shon almost seems like, okay, yeah, we can have the kids, but I don't necessarily need the marriage. So for me right there, it's showing that they're just 2 different people, and they need to, I think either a conversation is needed, because I definitely think there's love between them, or they just need to come to the agreement that maybe marriage is not for them. Some people agree to stay together in a partnership, if that's what you want to call it, and like life partners, but they don't want the same thing in terms of marriage. And that's how I felt about that's what I got from the divorce conversation.
Good points. I appreciate you. I hear that.